So I have to be honest with you guys, I'm really excited for this one. Today we're going to be looking at the newest Stronger With You flanker. Now this line has been out for a few years now. I still remember when the first one came out, I was pumped for it, I was excited. I thought the note breakdown looked intriguing, and even to this day, the original Stronger With You is still a really solid flanker. Intensely is my favorite just because it really does amp up the performance, but I think as a whole the line is pretty good. Of course we have Freeze in there as well, a little bit of a fresher version, but when I saw this one announced, I saw the look of the bottle, and more importantly I saw the note breakdown. I was so excited to try this one. This is going to be Stronger With You, absolutely. This one is not yet available in the US, at least as far as I'm aware, and I did order this one overseas. I will leave a link down below to Sweet Care, which is where I purchased this one from. Came in a couple weeks actually. I was pretty impressed with how quickly it ended up coming. I didn't really check the tracking on this one just because I figured it was going to be quite a while, but it showed up on my door just kind of out of the blue, and I was like, okay, cool, here it is. So I'm going to be checking this one out today live on camera, give you my first impressions on this one. Like I said in the beginning, I'm pumped for this one. The note breakdown looks stellar, and I can't wait to see how this one stacks up with the others. And really, I'm not too sure how far they're going to go with the line. We have Stronger With You Leather, which I forgot to mention, but that's a great flanker as well. I just recently picked that one up. It's more of an exclusive limited edition one. And so maybe because it might be starting to slow down a little bit with the new releases, I'll maybe go ahead and put together a buying guide video. You guys really seem to like those, where I'll basically sit down and go through the entire line, cover all of the flankers, and then tell you which one is my favorite. I might be starting to put that one together since I have a feeling we may not get that many more after this one, aside maybe from some exclusive editions, but I could be wrong. I mean, they've been pumping these out pretty quickly, so you never really know. Let's go and take a look at the bottle. I have to say, out of all the bottles, this one is probably my favorite so far. You know, each time it does get a little bit darker, a little bit more rich, and I love the gradient on this one. It goes from basically black at the bottom to that deep, deep dark color on top, and that is all the fragrance juice itself. The bottle itself there at the top is not colored, it's just you know, clear like that, but the bottom, of course, that is a gradient. So very, very deep, dark juice itself. I'm excited to go ahead and give this one a spray. Let's go ahead and see what this one is all about. Again, very excited. I've had a brief look at the note breakdown. Like I said, it really got me intrigued, but other than that, you know, I'm not really sure what to expect here. So opens up right off the bat, smelling a lot like the original and intensely. You get that roasted chestnut smell right off the top. And one thing that I've always compared this to was Replica by the Fireplace, which is a more expensive fragrance, at least at retail. It usually isn't discounted that much. When these are fully available and at discounters, they're going to be a little bit more affordable. And also that Replica is going to be a bit more niche-like. Emporio Armani has always put a bit of a different twist on it, a little bit more of a designer-ish twist on it. But really that roasted chestnut smell kind of gives you the impression of sitting by the fireplace, sitting by an open flame, maybe roasting some marshmallows. It's got this woodiness, it's got this smoky sweetness as well. And honestly, that's what I get right off the top here. It smells quite a bit like those. So I'm going to go ahead and read off the note breakdown for you guys. Up top we have rum, elemi, and bergamot. In the mid we have lavender and davana. And in the base we have chestnut, Madagascar vanilla, cedar, and patchouli. So I just did a spray on my hand here to go ahead and assess it further on skin. Like I've said before, I always like to start out on paper just because a lot of times when people go and try these out in department stores, they usually do spray it on paper, but I always do come back and do a spray on skin as well. And of course, that's always the way to go if you want to really get an idea. If you want to purchase a fragrance, spraying it on skin is the way to go so you can get a true representation of what it's going to be about on your skin. And same thing here. I will say though, on skin, it does change up. It still does have that original and absolutely DNA. However, some of that rum that's listed as a top note starts to come through immediately. So it gives it a little bit of a boozy touch, kind of sweet boozy kick. The LME in there is giving it just a slightly woodiness, a little bit of a spiciness as well. And as for the bergamot, I'm not really picking up on any of that. The chestnut note is coming through strong, and that's one of the main players in the original and in the intensely version as well. Just that roasted chestnut, sweet sexiness that you get. It's coming through here immediately. A little bit of lavender is coming through, giving it a freshness. And then, of course, that vanilla is there in the base. That vanilla chestnut mixture is really what sets this one off and what makes it so addicting and irresistible. Of course, that leaves the cedar wood and the patchouli in the base, and those do come through a little bit. It's really just a woodiness in the base underneath the chestnut and the vanilla. So they're not going to be main players here. It's not a patchouli fragrance. It's not just a woody fragrance, but they do give you a nice depth. The patchouli gives you just a touch of a green hint, but not very much. Again, it is buried in the base, just giving you kind of a nice backbone to the DNA. So to be honest with you guys, this one really does tie back and smell pretty similar to Intensely. However, I get a bit more of vanilla out of this one. A bit more of a vanilla and a bit more of that rum, boozy touch in the opening. But other than that, it really does tie in with the original and of course with Intensely as well. So honestly, it doesn't differentiate as much as I thought it was going to initially. I thought it was really going to be heavy on the rum and, you know, maybe heavy on some of the other notes as well. But I do find that this one does circle back and it gives you that chestnut, it gives you that vanilla, which is known in the DNA, and just gives you a little bit of that rum up top, giving it a bit of a different twist. So I am partial to this DNA. I think it smells great. Again, Stronger With You Intensely is fantastic, but again, at the same time, this one does tie back and smell pretty similar to that one. So that's kind of a thing where you may want to hold off if you already have Intensely. Now, this is one of those things where I'm going to need to test this one for performance. Maybe if this was to perform better than Intensely, which already does perform pretty good, then maybe this would be worth picking up over that one. But if you already have the original and the Intensely, as of right now on skin, just smelling it, you know, after being on my skin for about almost 10 minutes, you know, I'm not really seeing any reason to necessarily pick this one up over Intensely or over the original. Now, that's something that could be subject to change. Again, this is just a first impression, so I'm just giving you my thoughts right off the bat. I will need to review this one and really spend some time with it. But right off the bat, while it does smell intoxicating, it does smell sexy and addicting, you know, Intensely in the original pulls off that same thing as well, and they are in a similar category. It is worth noting that this one is a parfum concentration, so, you know, it's a step above eau de parfum. Again, the fragrance color itself is very dark, so it does have that parfum look going on. Maybe it's going to last on skin for a very long time, even longer than Intensely. For me, I was just hoping for a bit more of a booziness, because again, I saw that rum when I first saw it was announced. I'm like, oh, this is going to be stellar. Going to be Stronger With You, but with a booziness. And while you do pick up on that a little bit, I wish it was more. I wish there was a stronger boozy accord. And honestly, what would have been cool was to maybe see a bit of a coffee thrown in here. Coffee booziness along with that roasted chestnut vanilla. I think that would have been stellar. Don't get any coffee, and while the rum is prominent, it's not that strong on my skin. So to go ahead and wrap this video up, my final thoughts so far on Stronger With You, absolutely. Smells fantastic. If you like this DNA, you're going to like this one because it is very similar to the other fragrances. As of right now, I'm not sure this is one that I would necessarily go rush out and purchase just because of the similarities to the other ones. Now, performance is going to need to be tested. Considering this one is a parfum, my guess is that it's going to last on skin longer than all of the other flankers, but maybe project a bit less. You know, even though it is on my skin here and I'm not bringing it up to my face, I'm being able to smell it this whole time. Like right now, not bringing it up to my nose, I can smell it. So it does push out enough. It does leave a nice trail. But I'm curious to see how this one will last. I'm curious to see just how well it will project. If this is one that will last an eternity, maybe this one will be worth picking up over Intensely and over the original. But as of right now, if you have the original and Intensely, I wouldn't say that I would necessarily go rush out and purchase this one. The rum is in there in the opening a little, but not prominent enough to make this one that I would just rush out and get right off the bat. So by no means is this one a letdown, but I was hoping for something a little bit more intriguing. Nonetheless, it does still smell great, and some further testing will kind of conclude my full thoughts on this one. So if you've had a chance to try out Stronger With You, absolutely Let me know what you think of this one down below. Been really excited to try this one. I'm glad I have it here in the collection. And remember, if you do want to grab a bottle for yourself, currently, as far as I'm aware, it's only available overseas and from Sweet Care, which is where I got mine. That link will be down below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.